Hello. How is everyone today? I'm excited to be here today, per usual. I love topics like these, FYI. Like, I absolutely love them because the overarching thing for me, we're going to dive into some things that are going to help you guys in life and business. But the overarching thing for me to really make the decisions that I do in my life and in my business were, do I want to have a lot of money? And do I want to be happy while I have this money? And that kind of got my brain on board with doing some of these things that we're going to talk about, because I think it's really important that we look at how our life is set up and designed for success, right? To bring happiness, joy, and peace into our lives. So that's kind of the overarching context. And I'm going to break some things down for you guys. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here. So if you're new to the group and you have never attended a live before, I want to welcome you to the group. So good to have you, or the community, I should say. So good to have you. This community really birthed from nothing, and it is what it is today, and it would have been a lot bigger. So welcome. I'm Ariana Jay. I help men and women who have a passion to make powerful, positive impact within their local community do so through licensed assisted living, group home, and community hab businesses. So I have a 7-figure agency. It's a home and community-based agency. I serve the DD population, some individuals with mental health challenges and cognitive deficits. So that's what I do. I help providers all over the United States get started with their chosen provider type, and it's important to me that you guys know your options, because you can make a hell of a lot of impact and a hell of a lot of income, but a lot of people don't know how to do it. So that's what I'm here on the interwebs for. And so welcome to the group. But let's get into it. I get told all the time, you guys, and I'm not just saying this just to freaking say it. I get told a lot. And when I say a lot, at least 1 to 2 times a week. That's a lot for what I'm going to tell you. I get told a lot that my energy is amazing. I get told a lot that I just seem very happy and joyous in my life and in my business. And people are they're trying to figure out like if it's a stunt or not. Literally. I get people in person asking me this. I get people online asking me this. Like, I get asked. And I'm like, no, like, this is what you see is what you get. Ain't no fakery over here. Ain't got time to fake it. But it was all very, very intentional. And it was designed this way. I worked very, very hard for my life to be designed this way. So I love the life that I lead, and I love my business. I have a couple businesses. I have several businesses, but I love my businesses. And I'm thinking, how did I get here, right? How did I kind of go through this growth and evolution to get here? Because I'm not saying I was always a miserable person. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is creating a business and a life that you love literally can bring you happiness, joy, peace, and a lot more fucking income. Okay? I had this shift happen to me in 2020. 2020, actually it was 2019. I kind of came to that realization. It's like November-ish 2019. And I was like, fuck being miserable. I want to be happy. I want to be joyous. I want to love my business. I want to love my life. I want to love all of those things. And so I began to go on this quest. And I know the story, just bear with me, okay? But I went on a quest, and this quest was, I didn't know how to get all of those things, right? What's true happiness? First off, what's true happiness? Are you meant to be happy all the time? No, you're not. You're not meant to be happy like on cloud 9 all the fucking time. It's just not part of human design to be like that all the time. That's why there's a wide range of emotions, right? We have to be able to tap into those. It's human to tap into those emotions. It's not human to be on cloud 9 all the time, right? But I was on this quest, one that I didn't even know where it was going to go. But I wanted more happiness, joy, and I wanted to love my life and my business. Not that I hated it, but I wanted to truly love it and live a life that I designed. Now you might be thinking, okay, Ariana, well, you have this amazing business. You're making money. You're telling me you weren't happy? I wasn't happy all the time. I wasn't, because I wasn't living a life that I designed to be happy. Does that make sense? That I loved. Let's not use the word happy, but that I loved. And so I went on this quest not knowing what to do or what I was going to find or any of those things. But the only thing that I could do is I could start with myself. I had to start internal. I had to start with loving myself, loving on myself, taking care of myself, all of those things. I didn't know of the evolution that was going to happen from that. Okay. And as I started reading, as I started like growing as a person, I knew it had to go beyond that. But I started with myself. So 2020 was a year of self care for me. It was a year of self care. And as we know, Rona happened in 2020, and I thought all of that was going to stop, right? I didn't know what it was going to look like. But my son was at the time maybe 6 8 months, so I had a consultation with a plastic surgeon to help me with some body contouring. I didn't do anything crazy, but I had that scheduled in January and February of 2020, and I proceeded with those procedures. A little nip tuck, nothing crazy. It was if you guys are curious, I went to Elite Body Sculpture in Bellevue, and I had the procedure while I was awake, so it just kind of snatched me back in places. I did not lose. I didn't go and get a ton of lipo and lose. I still had to really work out. I still had to, I work out every day, right? Not every day, five to 6 days a week. I'm working out, and I've worked for the body, but I had a little tweakage happen to make sure I was good. Anyways, that happened, Rona happened, and I could have just stopped, and I was determined not to. I continued this quest of self-care. I continued it. So what I was doing was I would travel down to Texas. I would travel down to Houston, Texas every month, and I would spend a week down there at the condo. I partner with my sister. She's an executive chef, and she travels all over. So I was like, hey, let me help you out. I want to get this condo. I'm going to stay at this condo with you. I just need this place put together for a week every month. And I was able to get away, and I was able to focus on myself, and I was able to, in that time, it was about 9 months period of time, I was able to start to redesign my life the way that I wanted it to be, right? What I wanted my life to look like. And for so long, I realized I was living a life that society put out for me. I was living a life that community norms put out for me, what a mom is supposed to be, what a wife is supposed to be, what a friend is supposed to be. And so I really took a deep dive to look at what the fuck does Ariana really want. And a lot of times with myself at the time, you ask me what I want now, I will tell you. And if I don't know, I will tell you I need to think about it, and I will come back with an answer. I will tell you what I want. But at that time, I couldn't tell you what I want. So it took a lot of discovery for me to really figure out what it is that I wanted. And so as I started writing and journaling and putting what was in my head down on paper, I realized I was not living the life that I truly wanted to live. And so when I got back, I got into therapy. I started to really peel back the layers of who I was and who I wanted to be and why I wasn't doing those things, and going against social norms and cultural norms and all of those things with help and support. And when we peeled back all of the layers, I was able to see this life that I wanted. I was able to see how I wanted my home to run, how I wanted my relationship to be with my spouse, with my partner, and with my kids, right? I was able to see all of that so clearly, okay? And then now that I see it, I put it down. Now it's like, well, oh shit, like, how do I make that happen? How do I make that happen? How do I go from seeing what I want to then having what I want? It's like way far away, right? How does this relate to you? We're going to jump back to the story in just a minute, but how does that relate to you? Many of you want something in your life. You haven't really put it down on paper. You haven't really designed your life. But you know you want something. Maybe you want something more. Maybe you want something more. But I was in the state of knowing what it is that I wanted on paper, but I didn't know how to get there. And so it was almost like this anxiety kind of flooded over me, because it's like, well, now I know what I want, but now I don't know how to get there. I don't know what I need to be doing. I don't know what I need to be doing. So what I did, with the help of a therapist, of course. If you don't believe in therapy, you need to believe in therapy. Your life probably will be forever better if you jump into therapy. I also had postpartum depression, so this wasn't my first round at therapy, right? It wasn't my first go at it. So my biggest thing with therapy was I wanted to make sure I was with the right fit, the right therapist, right? But what they had me do, and I'm going to talk to you about that right now, what they had me do was just write down, just a simple exercise. It was to write down the 5 to 6 steps that I thought in that moment, in my being there, that I was going to be able to achieve what it is that I wanted. And you're like, 5 to 6 steps, that's it? 5 to 6 steps, that's what she said, right? Like 5 to 6 things, just write it down. Steps 1 through 6, write it down, just take it out of your head. Okay? And that's what I did. I did that. And did I feel any better? I didn't, because I was like, holy shit, now I have to do those 5 to 6 things to get to where I want to go, right? But the exercise in itself was able to help relieve the pressure of wanting to know what those steps were, right? What I needed to do to get to that life that I wanted. And there were several different aspects. But what it did was it took the pressure off and allowed me to start doing. It allowed me to start having the conversations with the people who I love that are in my life and letting them know and setting boundaries around different parts of my life. It took the pressure off for me to delegate certain things, right, in my life, in my business. This is life and business, guys, not just one or the other. It allowed me to do that without the pressure of having to figure out, am I doing the right thing, right? It literally gave me grace. And what I want to tell you today is that list that you write down, those 5 to 6 things, ideally are probably going to be a lot more than 5 to 6 things, right? But what happens when you take those thoughts that you have that you feel like, it's going to get you to that life that you want? It allows, again, the pressure to come off, and then for you to switch into just thinking to doing. Because we can come up with 25 things. We can come up with 25 things. You will see the list of 25 things and literally become paralyzed, because you'll know that there's so much more. When I redesigned my life, I looked at those 5 to 6 things and thought, that's doable. And so when I started getting into it and I started taking steps and started that motion process, right, that action process, yeah, there was more to it, but I already started. So you have this confidence, this relief, this pleasure, and knowing that you are actively creating the life that you want. Now, this goes, again, beyond just business, because I believe everything is at an intersection of life and business. All of the things. We are here now, and there are some people, maybe you are one of them, that want to desperately redesign their life. But maybe it's not the sense that you don't want to take the steps. Maybe because there's a long way to go, you're literally paralyzed. So you don't have to do this with a therapist. I recommend therapy, but you don't have to do this with a therapist. You can do this with another member in this group. You can do this with a friend. You can do this by yourself. But I encourage you to start redesigning your life so you can have happiness, peace, and joy in it. And this is a very high arching conversation, right? We're very high level at this point. We're not low level with any of this. Because once you start your business, you don't have to do any of this to have a successful business or a successful life or anything like that. But the statement, money doesn't bring happiness or money doesn't buy happiness, I think that's what it is very, very true. There's a lot of people walking around with a ton of money who are fucking miserable. There's a lot of people walking around with a lot of money who are helping and serving other people who are fucking miserable. They can't stand their life. They can't stand their spouse or partner, whoever you call. They're irritated all the time. There's no happiness and joy in their life at all, right? They put on a front, they buy things so other people can see that they have things, but they're truly miserable. I know people like this, like miserable people. I don't want to go through life that way. I spent my 20s building my life so that, like the financial realm, the business realm, all of that. I spent my 20s doing that, and I want to enjoy my 30s. I want to thrive in my 40s. I want to explore in my 50s. Like, I want to do all of the things, and I want to set my life up to be able to do that. But what I want you to know is that if you could do it now, I know there's current and aspiring providers here in the group, but if you could do it now, before your business gets up and started, or during that startup phase of your business, or after you've already started and you're starting to build a team and you have these financial resources to be able to invest in help and invest in, more self-care, all of the things, doesn't matter what stage you're at. But if you can do this now, as you grow, as you evolve, because we all grow and evolve, right? I'm not the same person I was in December. Hell, I'm not the same person I was 4 months ago. I've grown and evolved, and so have you. And so if you can start doing that as you grow and evolve, your life can't not but get better, right? You can't not, it has to happen. What does it say? You overestimate what you can do in a day, and you underestimate what you can do in a year, right? Baby steps, everything adds up, momentum adds up, all the things are going to add up in your favor. But the thing is, you have to do them. I would much, much rather you put one thing on your to-do list and accomplish that one thing than put 10 things on your to-do list and don't do anything, because you feel like the 10 things on your to-do list look better and it makes it looks like you're going to accomplish so much today. I'd rather you put one thing on, maybe 2, that you can actually hit and achieve, than put 10 to make it look better. 2, you check those off, you're like, okay, did I really do a lot today? You did. Because it's going to compound. Compounding interest, the same fucking thing. It's the same thing, life and business, all the same. When you can wrap your mind around that and you can really start to walk in your purpose of what you want for your life and how you design your, people don't know, let me tell y'all, People are just amazed at how my life is set up and orchestrated. Like, it's the dream life for me. It can only get better, right? I have a very well designed life. I say that not to brag at all. I'm saying that to help and inspire. Everything I say is to help and inspire, right? It can happen for you or it can happen to you. We are the masters of our own ship, captains of our own ship, however you say it. We are the designers of our own life. And you can be happy, you can be joyous, you can be all of those things when you really take the step back and start being responsible for the way that your life is flowing, the way that you are living, all of the things. All of the things. And it takes a bit for momentum to catch up, right? But that doesn't mean that you stop. That doesn't mean that you stop. I was sitting in my living room last weekend. I think it was last weekend. I had a glass of wine. Douglas and I were talking. It was movie night, so it was a Friday night. My kids were downstairs watching a movie. And I had my glass of, red wine, and we were talking on the couch. And I looked around the room. My house is completely remodeled. I looked around the room and I was like, shit, can you believe? I told Douglas, I was like, can you believe, like, we're sitting in our house in this remodeled home, like 6-9 months ago, we hadn't even embarked on the project. But we're sitting here inside of this. We went through a lot to get that remodel to happen. There was product that was missing. There was delays that happened. There was contractors that would come in and wouldn't be able to stay the whole time. There was a lot of things that happened during that 6 to 9 month time. But yet we are sitting there through the process in the space that we love, the space that was designed, right, for us. And I was just like pausing because we were talking, and I just kind of looked around and I was like, we literally created the space that we wanted. And that's exactly what you can do in your life and in business. And in business. If you have a team right now and your team isn't flowing the way that you want it to flow, if you have any business, but specifically to the cares industry, because that's what we're talking about, licensed assisted living, group home, community businesses. So if you have a team and that team isn't flowing and doing what you want it to do, take a second and design it. What do you want your people to do? How do you want these things to happen? Is there parts of the business you want to be in, or are there things that you need to pull back on? Or are there things that you pull back on that you need to come back into? That was something that I realized over this last year. I'm a delegation queen, okay? I'm literally about to hire a member from my family. Not an actual, you guys know what, let me talk. I'm about to hire somebody to come in and be the full support for my household. That's going to organize, going to cook, who's going to clean, who's going to interact with my kids, watch my kids, deal with the dog. I'm hiring, when I say help, this is the Jackson home support. Like, this is the person. If I need something picked up, I want to be able to have them pick it up. If we need things ordered, I want them to be able to do that. Like, I am about to hire that person. And I've been wanting this for a very long time. But I just want you guys to know that you can delegate and design. That's where I was going with it. I've delegated so much, right? So in my business, in my agency, I've delegated like a mad woman, like intentionally, like a mad woman. But I've had to pull back on some of those things, and I've had to like kind of re-engage myself in my business, because there are some tasks that I could hand out, but there's also tasks that I really want to be present in, right? This again goes for life and business, right? There are things that I may have given to a team member and they're not knocking it out of the park. So I have two options. I can take that back, or I can I have three. I can hire somebody else to do it. I can take back the task, or we can reevaluate the work for the task based off the employee and their abilities, right? And so designing your team is something you can do as a business owner in the cares industry who's up and running. Maybe you're not at the spot right now to pull the trigger on your business, right? Maybe your life is so fucking chaotic and you can't even have 5 minutes of self-care. I hear people say that to me all the time. Like, I try to get self-care in. I'm like, okay, well, talk to me. Well, it's really hard. My kids want this, my kids want that, the man wants this, or the wife wants that. And I'm like, okay, well, what about you? What do you want? People don't know. So they'll tell me I know when it's bullshit. Oh, I listened to a podcast. Oh yeah? Do you feel rejuvenated in any aspect of the life that you designed? Well, I started the podcast, but so you didn't even it's a waste of time. Or I took a bath. That's great. Tell me about the environment that you took the bath in. Well, it was really quick because so-and-so. Well, that's not self-care, right? That's not self-care. If you want to take a bath and that's going to be your self-care, and you have the man or the wife or the kids, do you tell them to leave you the fuck alone? Do you, not like that, but do you tell them, look, this is my time, don't nobody interrupt me? Do you put a candle on? And do you sit there in that bath and just reflect or drink your wine or whatever it is? Do you do that? Because that's the type of things you don't have to do. Like, you don't have, I'm not saying you have to take a bath, but what I'm saying is, if you are not taking care of yourself in some aspect, it's going to be damn near impossible for you to design a life that you want without building self-care in for you, right? When you see these people that are out here and successful and killing it and all the things, those people have designed their lives to be that way. Not saying that they're happy, but they've designed their life to be able to, build the business, to do this. They have time to do that, all of the things, right? We have someone that handles our maintenance. We have a laundry service. You know what I mean? We're bringing in basically a family manager that's going to really help with all of that, with managing the home, managing all of the things that happen, right? Helping me really create that environment that I absolutely love. Do you know what it's like to walk into a house that's sparkling clean because your cleaner came through and the house is beautiful and everything's put back in its spot and your bathroom is just immaculate as you look through the mirror? Like, these are little bitty things that you could do right now to help design your life, help create the life. Because I guarantee you, if someone gives you a checklist of what you could be doing or what you should be doing to get to where you want to go, it's going to be extremely hard for you to hit that metric, to hit that goal, if you do not have your life kind of designed in a way that's going to allow you to do that. And that's why when people come into my program, Startup Provider Program, I say to them, part of the vetting process, the conversations that we have when we're having that dialogue with them to see if they're the right fit, this program is going to take anywhere between 5 to 8 hours a week. If you're really good with time management, maybe 2 to 5 hours a week, right? But if your life is just like so freaking chaotic and you're not even able to get a chance to shit on the toilet without somebody like walking in on you, you can't find a place to hide in the house for peace and quiet, you know what I mean? Like, how are you going to build a business? How are you going to build a successful business if you do not have time to even think? Creating the life that you want takes time, takes energy, it takes effort, it takes action more than anything for you to do that. There are going to be moments where you're not going to like it. There are going to be conversations that you just don't want to have. There's going to be things that you feel like that are happening in your life that you are going to be shoved off a fucking cliff for, right? You just like, the anxiety for that moment is so fucking strong that you just feel like you can't take it, right? That's part of life. That's part of what it is. But our job is to be able to keep moving forward, keep taking that next step so that we can create the life that we want, the business that we want, all of the things. And you get to have that because this is your life. You're not having somebody dictate to you what your life is. Now, you might be fearful of what the community says, or what society says, or what cultural norms are. That might be something, and that's internal work you have to do. But if you want to get to the life that you desire and you dream of, then there has to be some work and action that's put into it. And you're going to have to take a second to stop and think about what it is you truly want and write that down. I'm not a big thing on vision boards. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I know a lot of people are, and that's okay. Like, I'm not that kind of person to I don't need, I know they have like digital boards and stuff like that, so that's kind of cool. But I've always been like a checklist girl. Like, you give me a checklist, you tell me what I need to do, when my deadline is, what I need to do it at, then I can do it. But it's hard to do that for yourself, right? So if you need a vision board, give yourself that permission to do that. If you need a checklist or accountability buddy, give yourself the opportunity to do that. Do not cut yourself off. Do not count yourself out. But there is a sense of responsibility that you need to tailor for yourself. And at the end of the day, nobody can make you do anything but you. Nobody can make you do anything but you. So you have to be the one to orchestrate this and set the safeguards and parameters around yourself so you can actually get the results and start building the life that you actually want to live, so you can have more happiness, more peace, and more joy inside of your life. So that's what I had to share with you guys today. I'm so glad to be here in this community. I'm so glad to lead a people who lead themselves, lead a group of people who lead themselves, because at the end of the day, we want to all live very full, rich lives. And I want that for each one of you. I want you guys to be able to go out and make massive impact and massive income, and hence 7-figure impact. That's why it is that title. So that is it for now, my loves. I hope this inspires at least one of you guys. I hope you guys can take action on that. I hope you can redesign your life or design your lives in a way that you are more ecstatic than ever to live and to lead and to experience and to do all of the things, because it's very, very important. And I didn't know how much me living a very rich, full life, the life that I've designed and I'm continuing to redesign and all the things, is so impactful and empowering to those around you. So when you think about it as it's just you, it's not. It's not just you. There are eyes watching you. There's eyes watching me. I can't even tell you guys all of the things. That's a conversation for another day. But there are people watching you. And you don't have to have this Facebook group or going live or to be on the social platforms and be all the places. You don't have to do that. Like, people are watching you, and they're human, and they're gauging you, and they're looking at you, and you can positively impact and inspire their life, or you can do the opposite. You can do the opposite. So I choose to lead a life that I love. I choose to lead a life that inspires people. I choose to be true and authentic to myself. And whoever doesn't understand that, they don't understand it, right? That's what I choose. And so that choice was a starting place for me. And I have done a lot of work to get to a spot that I am today. And I know in 12 months, in 6 months, in 9 months, I will be a different person. I will grow and evolve. I will grow and evolve. I will grow and evolve in my life, my personal life, and in my business. And I want the exact same for you. So if you would like to come and work with me inside of the Startup Provider Program, if you've thought about it, you are welcome to go to workwitharianaj.com and apply to work with me. My team and I will review your application and get back with you to see if you're a good fit for our program, the Startup Provider Program, which is a 12-month program helping you start your licensed assisted living group home or community hab business and get to 7 figures. So that's what the program is. It's very robust, and it would be my honor to help you and guide you and be there for support for you over the next 12 months. It was so good seeing you all. Thank you guys. You guys are wonderful. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.